You weren't supposed to stumble into this moment. Yet here you are. Out of millions of people mindlessly scrolling, something made you pause. Something nudged you to stay. And whether you realize it or not, that pull wasn't accidental. Sometimes a message reaches you the way a whisper reaches someone standing in a noisy room, not because it's louder, but because it's meant for them. What brought you here has that same quality, a quiet signal, a subtle pull, a frequency only a tiny fraction of people ever recognize. Right now, at this exact point in time, something in your inner world synced with something outside of you and created an opening. Most people never notice these openings. They rush past them, dismissing them as random moments. But you didn't. You stopped. And that already says more than you think. What I'm about to share isn't just information. It's a lens, a way of seeing the hidden patterns shaping your life. The patterns that make you wonder why the same problems keep circling back. Why certain areas of your life feel stuck no matter what you do. Why progress feels like pushing through water. If something in you feels a quiet yes to that, take a breath. This moment has meaning. Behind everything you see and touch, there's an unseen structure guiding your experiences. Not in a mystical, chosen one kind of way, but in a deeply practical way rooted in how your mind, your energy, and your perception interact with the world around you. And once you understand that structure, you're no longer trapped inside it. If your intuition is already leaning in, type, "I am ready," not because the words matter, but because the intention does. A small declaration creates a shift in your internal state. Sometimes that's all the universe needs to give you the next clue. Think about this for a second. Billions of videos, millions of voices, endless noise, yet this is what broke through. Not yesterday, not next week, now. That timing alone tells you something. People assume these moments are guided by algorithms, but the truth is, the algorithm only reflects what you're resonating with internally. It mirrors your curiosity, your hunger for clarity, your desire for change. Call it intuition, call it frequency, call it whatever you want. But something in you reached out, and this message reached back. Most people ignore that internal tug. They brush off the signs, chalk them up to coincidence, and keep looping through the same life chapters. Same frustrations, same habits, same outcomes. They never question the script they're unknowingly following. But you're still here, and that alone puts you in a small group of people willing to look deeper. What comes next isn't abstract theory or poetic spirituality. It's a mechanism, a clear explanation of how your inner wiring shapes your external life. And once you understand this, the repetition you've been experiencing finally makes sense. That feeling of living the same story over and over, it's not your imagination. Notice the patterns, the same type of financial setbacks, the same relationship themes, the same emotional triggers, different faces, different situations, same experience. We often convince ourselves that life just happens, but the truth is far more direct. The loops you're stuck in aren't accidents. They're built through repetition, not because you want them, but because your mind keeps laying down the same tracks. Neuroscience explains this better than any spiritual text ever could. Every thought fires a network of neurons. Think the same thought tomorrow, the next day, the next year, and those neural pathways become highways. They become the default routes your mind takes, even when you don't want it to. And here's the thing most people never realize. These pathways run almost your entire life on autopilot. Around 5% of your day, 5, is driven by conscious choice. The remaining 95% is programming. Old beliefs, old reactions, old stories, childhood patterns, emotional habits you never meant to keep. And that programming doesn't just influence what you think. It shapes what you notice, what you say yes to, what you reject, what you fear, what you chase, and what you push away without even realizing it. You can want a better relationship while unconsciously repeating your parents' patterns. You can dream of success while automatically filtering out every opportunity that doesn't match your old identity. You can crave change while reinforcing the very behaviors that keep you in the same place. And all of this is happening beneath your awareness. Most people assume this inner cycle stays inside their skull, but it doesn't. Your thoughts and emotions create a kind of ongoing signal, a broadcast that your energy sends into the world. Not in a magical wish and it appears way, but in the same way a radio station transmits whatever it's tuned to. When you consistently replay the same fears, doubts, and assumptions, that becomes the frequency your life organizes itself around. The world responds to what you're unconsciously broadcasting, not what you consciously prefer. This is why forcing positivity doesn't work. You can say all the affirmations you want, but if your internal wiring is calibrated to scarcity, your emotional state overrides your words every time. Your conscious mind is rowing gently in one direction, while your subconscious engine drags you somewhere else entirely. That's why habits collapse, why resolutions fade, why the same problems return with new faces. It's not a lack of discipline, it's a mismatch of power. Your conscious mind has a teaspoon, your subconscious has a motorboat, and the current underneath everything is always stronger than the effort on the surface. This subconscious shaping starts early. As kids, we pick up beliefs like, money is difficult, life is supposed to be hard, trust gets you hurt. They don't stay as sentences, they become filters, invisible rules that define what feels possible, what feels dangerous, what feels familiar. Eventually, you become so used to the cage you don't even realize you're inside one. So if you don't move during that small window, the brain steps in. It labels your powerful experience as imagination or coincidence. The opening closes, and you fall back into the same thought loops and emotional habits you've carried for years. What's wild is this. The version of you that exists right now still holds possibilities that tomorrow's version might already lose. Your nervous system doesn't differentiate between fear that protects you and fear that limits you. Anything unfamiliar feels unsafe. So when you start shifting your frequency, when you push out of old patterns, your body rings its internal alarm. It pulls you back toward what it knows, even if what it knows is the very thing you're trying to escape. That's why real transformation feels uncomfortable. Your biology is defending the past, while your consciousness is trying to build the future. Ancient teachers understood this long before modern science caught up. Thoth, the keeper of cycles and celestial timing, emphasized that everything has its moment. There are times to sow and times to harvest, and you cannot force results outside those windows. Ignore the timing and the effort collapses. The same principle applies to personal change. These windows don't appear out of luck. They show up because you created the conditions for them through your inner work. Letting them pass is like telling the universe you're more attached to the safety of your old life than the freedom of becoming someone new. So the real challenge isn't spotting the doorway. It's acting before the old mind talks you out of it. You need a way to anchor the new energy the moment it appears. something simple, immediate, and powerful enough to signal your brain and the field around you that the shift is real. And yes, that tool exists. It's surprisingly short, almost too simple, but incredibly effective. It's a 3-minute morning ritual that reprograms your energy before the analytical mind wakes up and starts running its usual script. Right after you wake, in that soft space between dreaming and fully returning to the world, your subconscious is still open. You're moving from the deep theta waves of sleep into alpha, and only later into beta. In that transition, the barrier between conscious and subconscious is thin. That's the state hypnotherapists try to guide people into. You fall into it naturally every single morning. This is where epigenetics steps in, a field that has completely rewritten what we thought we knew about genetics. Your genes aren't a rigid script. They're more like a library of options, and your emotional state determines which options get pulled off the shelf. Think of your genes as switches. Stress, fear, anger, and overwhelm flip on the ones linked to inflammation, rapid aging, and illness. These states push your body into emergency mode, redirecting energy away from growth and healing. It's perfect if you're running from danger, but a disaster when you live in constant worry about bills, work, or relationships. When you stay in survival mode long enough, your immune system weakens, digestion slows, hormones spiral, and the body slowly tears itself down. That's how many illnesses begin, not from fate, but from an emotional state repeated for years. But the moment you shift into elevated emotion, the kind you generate in the 3-minute ritual, a completely different genetic program kicks in. Gratitude, love, appreciation, joy. These states flip on the genes that repair cells, boost immunity, and extend longevity. They tell your body, you're safe now, you can grow, you can heal. Science is proving this over and over again, and the results are shocking. In multiple studies, people who practiced heart coherence for only a few minutes a day showed noticeable genetic changes within a week. Inflammation dropped, DNA repair genes activated, the immune system strengthened. Their bodies weren't just feeling better, they were rewriting their biology. One study reported that in just 4 days of consistent emotional practice, participants doubled their IgA levels, their main defense against illness. Another study showed telomeres, the protective ends of chromosomes that usually shrink with age, actually lengthened after weeks of practice. These people were biologically reversing aspects of aging through emotion alone. This isn't mysticism. This is your biology responding to consciousness in real time. This is what the old alchemists were hinting at. The lead they talked about wasn't metal. It was your old identity. The habits, beliefs, and emotions that weigh you down. The gold was the awakened, coherent self that emerges when your inner world aligns. The entire tradition was pointing toward an inner transformation long before modern science had the tools to measure it. They realized that the principles that transform physical matter also transform consciousness. In both cases, coherence is the catalyst. Alignment, harmony, energetic unity. And this brings us right back to the message Thoth and the ancient teachers tried to leave behind. They weren't talking about gods who choose favorites. They were describing laws of creation, laws that govern how reality responds to your state of being. Their message was simple but powerful. You don't attract what you hope for. You attract what you energetically are. Your life is always mirroring back the frequency you broadcast, whether you're aware of it or not. Look at your current reality. Every challenge, every blessing, every repeating pattern, all of it is a reflection of your inner emotional climate. If your dominant state is fear around money, life brings circumstances that confirm that fear. If you vibrate with distrust in relationships, you meet people who reinforce that story. It's not punishment, it's matching. Thoth called it correspondence, as within, so without. Your inner and outer worlds are simply the same frequency expressed in different forms. Change the inner, and the outer has no choice but to reorganize. This isn't metaphor, it's physics. The electromagnetic field created by heart-brain coherence influences the quantum field around you. You emit, the field responds. Real change has never been about wrestling with the world around you. It was never about trying to force people to behave a certain way, pushing outcomes, or exhausting yourself in the name of progress. That's what someone does when they're trying to decorate the walls of a prison they haven't realized they can leave. The real shift happens when you tune your inner world. When your heart and mind begin working in harmony, you rewrite your energetic signature. You stop sending out the signal of someone struggling to survive and begin sending the signal of someone creating their own path. In that moment, you stop being tossed around by whatever the day brings and become the one directing the energy. Life starts responding differently, not because you're forcing anything, but because you're finally broadcasting the frequency that unlocks the doors you once had to push open. This is the heart of conscious creation. You don't beg for a new life. You become the version of yourself who already lives it. If you feel it, say it out loud or write it somewhere. I am the creator of my reality. Let that sentence mark the moment where you stepped out of powerlessness and into authorship. This is the core of Thoth's teaching. As within, so without isn't poetry. It's a formula. Your reality is feedback. If you don't like what the world is mirroring back, change the signal you're sending. Most people spend decades arguing with the mirror, trying to fix their reflection instead of adjusting themselves. They bargain, complain, and wait for the reflection to move first. But the mirror always follows the source. Once you grasp this, you stop playing the victim's game entirely. You step into the creator's game, where responsibility isn't a burden, it's your superpower. Because if your energy contributed to shaping your past, it also holds the key to shaping your future. And when your energy rises into coherence, when your frequency stabilizes at a new level, the outer world begins responding in ways that feel almost unreal. That's when synchronicities start appearing. You'll think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they'll reach out within hours. A job, an idea, a solution, something perfectly aligned with your new state, will appear out of nowhere. An old problem you've been carrying for too long suddenly collapses in the shower, during a walk, or while you're making tea. This isn't luck, it's confirmation. Your field is shifting, and the quantum field is shifting with it. Synchronicities are the universe's way of saying, yes, keep going. I heard you. Jung sensed this when he talked about meaningful coincidences, those strange moments when the line between inner world and outer world seems to blur. Today, physics describes the same truth through the observer effect. Change the observer, and the observed reality changes with it. As you ascend into a new frequency, people and situations on that same wavelength start appearing effortlessly. At the same time, the people and patterns tied to your old identity begin drifting away. You won't need to cut them off. The bond simply dissolves because you're no longer vibrating in the same emotional range. At first, this can feel strange. Familiar people may suddenly feel distant. Old conversations lose their spark. It's not judgment, it's resonance. You've changed your station, and only those tuned to your new frequency can join you there. And then life starts moving for you instead of against you. Events line up. Opportunities feel natural. Outcomes unfold without strain. You're no longer trying to control the river. You're moving with it, realizing it's carrying you exactly where you meant to go. Thoth taught that someone aligned with their true frequency never has to chase what they want. Desire flows toward coherence. Struggle is a sign you're operating from separation and scarcity. Ease is a sign you're operating from unity and wholeness. Reality doesn't give you what you ask for. It reveals what you've become. If something in you feels awakened by this, if you feel that inner shift beginning, stay with this conversation. Because this isn't just information, it's initiation. Subscribe if you want a daily reminder of who you really are, the one shaping every corner of your reality. There's something important that people rarely talk about. When things finally start working, when small miracles show up and life begins shifting in a real way, a hidden danger appears. It's quiet, internal, and if you're not aware of it, it pulls you straight back into the version of yourself you worked so hard to escape. It's self-sabotage. The moment your new reality starts forming, the moment you feel lighter, more aligned, more connected, that old voice inside rises again. The voice you thought you outgrew, the one built on fear, habit, and survival. It whispers in a tone that sounds logical, but it's anything but truth. This can't last. You're getting ahead of yourself. You probably misread the signs. You don't deserve this. None of these thoughts belong to your future self. They're echoes of an identity that's fading. The ego has been trained for years to recognize itself through stress, struggle, and limitation. When it senses you slipping out of that pattern, it panics, because your growth feels like it's death. But it isn't evil. It's just terrified. It thinks it's keeping you safe by dragging you back into the familiar. Even if that familiar feels like a cage, every moment you choose doubt, every time you fall back into old emotional loops, you tune your energy back to your past. It's like switching between two radio stations, one playing the frequency of your future, the other replaying the old static you swore you were done with. And the more you oscillate, the weaker your signal becomes. The quantum field doesn't know what to respond to. Indecision itself becomes a message. I'm not fully ready for the life I say I want. And the universe waits. Not angrily, not punishingly, just neutrally. The momentum slows. The window that was wide open begins to narrow, and most people retreat into the comfort of who they used to be. That's the tragedy, not failure, but retreat. People often prefer familiar suffering over unfamiliar freedom. They slip back into old drama, old patterns, old roles, because that identity feels predictable. It feels safe, even when it's hurting them. That's the prisoner who misses the cell, because the world outside feels too wide. The truth is, our deepest fear has never been inadequacy. It's the fear that we're far more powerful than we let ourselves believe. Because if you accept that power, you can't pretend anymore. You can't hide behind excuses or stories. You have to own what you create. And that responsibility scares people. But you're standing at a crossroads right now. Not in some dramatic, cinematic sense, but in a very real, energetic way. Two paths stretch before you. One is familiar, predictable, and emotionally comfortable. The other is foggy, uncertain, and full of potential. One leads back to who you were. The other leads toward who you glimpsed yourself becoming. Every awakened person in history has stood here. Every one of them felt the tension you're feeling now, the pull of what's known and the call of what's possible. And the ones who transformed their lives didn't have clearer signs or more certainty. They simply chose the unknown. Here's what you need to understand. This message isn't meant to follow you forever. It came to open a door. Nothing more. It showed you where the lock is and placed the key in your hand. Now the next move is yours. Knowledge changes nothing without action. A seed doesn't grow if you never plant it. And tomorrow morning, the universe will quietly ask you one question. Which version of yourself will you feed today?